What does number 32 mean to you?
Well, I've had it so long, I forgot what it meant years ago, but you think about a whole lot of guys that wore 32. But quite honestly, when I was going to high school, I really wanted 33. But my coach said, no, you wore 32. So I had no choice. But since then, it's just been kind of a staple, 32, 32. So just hope I wore it proudly.
Out of everything you accomplished at SMU, getting drafted in the NBA, to see your number get honored today, where does that rank among your awards and accomplishments?
Well, years ago, I never thought about it. I didn't think about. I had goals in mind, but my jersey being in the Raptors never crossed my mind. It just never did. I wanted to win championships. I wanted to have a great career. I wanted to play in the NBA. And I did most of them. We didn't win championships, but I did graduate and play in the NBA and have a solid career. But as I got older and left SMU and started seeing some of the other places that had jerseys in the Raptors, at that point, it became important to me. But initially, when I first got here, it never crossed my mind because I didn't think people did that.
So where were you and what was your reaction when you got the call or when you were told that this would happen?
When Rick called me, I tried to remain calm. But once I hung up the phone, I screamed really loud. And you just start thinking about who you want to invite, who you want to acknowledge, in what order. Hopefully you can say everything you want to say without too many tears, because a lot of people that are close to me have passed on, including a lot of my coaches. So, but you just want to, like I've said time and time again, this is something you want to share. I didn't get there by myself, so I want to share it with someone else. So maybe, and I'm going to even mention the fact, maybe they can let me write initials on everybody's initials that's helped me on my namesake up there.
What does this honor mean to you?
It's just obviously I had a solid career. The fact that so many people have reached out to me over the last couple of weeks, and just to say, well deserved, it's about time. They said that, I didn't say that, but it really does mean a lot, because when you think about it, this school has been here over 100 years, and I'm just number 4, and plus, of course, Carlin, the only girl. Obviously, you did something well, and I wanted to give people something to talk about the next day at work or at school or on the golf course. I wanted it to be consistent. And when I say consistent, I didn't want to get 25 points and 12 rebounds one night and 6 points and 2 rebounds the next night. I wanted to do something solid, be at the top of most people's scouting reports. And I think I kind of did that.
You said that at some point this started to creep into your mind and become important to you. Was there ever a time you thought this day wouldn't come?
No, it didn't. I really didn't, because I felt like the resume was good enough. But it's like so many guys in the NFL, they know they're good enough for the Hall of Fame, but until you get that phone call, you don't get that. You haven't gotten that phone call. And I just tried to stay as calm as I could and not ruffle too many feathers, but nudge people every now and then. Hey, what about me? But I don't think it ever got to a point where I said no, that it would not happen, because again, I think I've sort of earned it.
You were inducted into the SMU Hall of Fame. Now you're getting your number retired.
Honored. They call it honored.
Honored. Okay. But in the interim of all that, I mean, from one point to this point, I mean, you've done so much for the school. You've represented the school so well. This is another representation, I guess, of not just your accolades of what you did on the court, but what you've done for the school.
Well, it's important. I mean, I grew up here. I grew up in Oak Cliff, and you hear all the things people are saying, that you're not this or you're not that. Not me personally, but the school. And that bothers me, because we can compete. And we haven't done it in the NCAAs, but we're good enough to compete in the NCAAs. And nobody was more excited than myself when the building was redone and we brought in UConn and we ran them out of here. And I mean, I was sweating. I had a big towel, and I was not. It was cold outside, and I was sweating. I was just that nervous, but I wanted our school to be on the map. And obviously it got on the map, but at the same time, you still had people questioning if we were good enough. So it's my goal to help any way I can in order to get us where we are being talked about every day when they talk about college basketball teams and the university itself.
Can you talk about choosing to go to SMU and SMU choosing you to play for them?
Well, I kind of could have gone anywhere, but one thing about SMU, I really only had two choices. I had a lot of choices, but I narrowed it down to here in UCLA. And of course, playing for John Wooden would have been phenomenal, but at the same time, you never know what could happen once you get 2,000 miles from home, hanging out with Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Walton, and Hugh Hefner and those kind of people. But my parents really wanted me here. I had a brother that was in the Mustang band. I'm certainly going to acknowledge that today. And he was here 3 of the 4 years that I was here. And my parents could drive 10 minutes, 15 minutes to watch me play. They were the biggest recruiter than anyone else. And so do you want to go there and maybe not play as a freshman? That was the first year freshmen could play. So playing with Bill Walton and Jamal Wilkes and all those guys and for John Wooden would have been great. But maybe being an 18-year-old freshman 2,000 miles from home, that may not have gone over well with me because I probably wouldn't have played. I started here right away. And plus, we were co-champions the year before. We had 2 all-conference players returning. Sammy Hervey coming in as a junior college All-American, averaging 37 points a game, who I had idolized forever. So I would get to play with him for 2 years. So we had the makings of doing something. It didn't materialize that way, so being at home, having the opportunity to build, that did it as much as anything else. Plus my parents kept nudging me every day. You don't want to leave, you don't want to leave. So I listened to my parents too.
As you reflect on your career, what are some of the memories that stand out?
A bunch of them. My freshman year, I played against 3 first-round draft choices. Dwight Jones at Houston, John Brown at Missouri, Mike Green at Louisiana Tech. They scored very well against me. But I can always say, as a freshman, my first game, I scored 28 points. My very first game. Unfortunately for me, Mike Green scored 40. Okay. I played against Dwight Jones. I scored 31. Dwight Jones scored 33. So playing against guys that went on to the NBA and being able to at least score against them, that made me think, maybe I could go to the next level. But the disappointing time was the night I thought we had beat number 4 Missouri when I hit the winning shot, and then they put 2 more seconds on the clock and didn't restart the automatic horn, and they threw the ball the length of the court, half court, throw it the rest of the way, and the guy catches it and puts it in there, puts it in the basket all in 2 seconds. That was really disappointing. But there were a lot of big moments going to Fayetteville my senior year, Sonny Allen's first year. Arkansas had just beat Houston in Otis Birdsong by 45 points. We go into Barnhill and we beat them. So, and that place got deathly quiet when we beat them. So I was waiting, they were gonna put time back on the clock. Let's go, let's get out of here. But something like that, never losing a game in Austin. I love Gregory Gym. I loved Gregory Gym. I won a state championship there. And I also never won a game there when I was in college. So that was pretty interesting.
Talk about high school, you talk about how you like to have people talk about you the next day at work. While you were in high school, you set a UIL record in the state championship, then you come to SMU, you become All Southwest Conference. The accolades just kind of mount themselves up when you talk about Ira Terrell. And how is that, the home kid, the hometown kid, Oak Cliff, Roosevelt High School, SMU, then the NBA. The accolades just kind of mount up for you, don't they?
Well, they kind of, sort of. I would have loved to play longer in the NBA, but I can't complain. I did play long enough to get my pension, which was a good thing. But just the fact that I played, when you think about the percentage of guys that can play the game, that don't always get a chance to play in the NBA. But my whole thing was being consistent. Like I said earlier, I didn't want to do it this way one night and not be able to do it the next night, and the next night, and the next night. So I played on some good teams, all the way back in junior high school. There's a guy that's going to be here tonight. I have not seen him since 1972. He was my 7th grade coach, and he got me started. And I can't wait to acknowledge him. I have not seen him in that long. So I've been fortunate to be around some good coaches, coaches that cracked the whip, but also coaches that gave me the opportunity to do my thing, lead. They taught me how to lead. My parents taught me how to lead. They taught me how to be responsible. So as long as you kind of keep that in mind and work hard, I didn't have a problem working hard because I had goals in mind, I had dreams in mind, and I wasn't going to cut corners and not work hard because the coach is not looking at me. Our high school coach would go home and have dinner with his wife on the last period of class. Me and one other guy ran practice for the first hour of the day, and we ran it hard. We ran it as if he was there. So I learned from that, and I think when you just continue to work like that, good things more times than not will happen for you.
You've been as visible in games at Moody Coliseum in recent years as probably any alumnus. Is that just you being a fan like any other alum, or is there sort of a conscious plan or reason behind that?
A little of both. I just don't have a life. I don't have anything. No, really, I want us on the national stage. But more than anything else, I'm not the guy that shows up like so many people showed up when we started winning once Larry Brown got here. You know, I was here when it was 1,200 people. You know, it used to be a time you could lay down on the front row and not touch anybody. You know, now you're real tight because everybody wants to sit on the front row. So I want to do whatever I can to encourage. You know, when I work out, on this great body that I have, you know, Rick has seen me, I usually have on an SMU shirt or an SMU pair of shorts or something like that. I get tired of looking at all that other stuff that's not from Dallas. But my whole thing that I can do, if I can help in any way, promote this fine university and this program, this is what I want to do.
Ira, you always call this place my house. Your house.
I don't want to go that far to say it's my house, but maybe I've got a room in the house somewhere. If that's it, and I'll take it from there. People say I'm the best ever. I don't like to go that route. If I'm in the top 10%, I'm good.
Anything else?